going to do a demonstration video for those of you who are not sure how to find sources for your argumentation essay. So this will be an important skill for all of your research assignments in college, just knowing how to find your sources. The important thing to start with is, what is my assignment? What are the parameters? What topics can I choose from? Make sure that you don't spend a whole bunch of time writing something that isn't going to get you any credit because you did not write on one of the topics that the assignment specified. So choose a topic. There are 20 here for you. I should probably cut those in half, but there are 20. Surely you can find one that you can find some research on. You're going to need 3 sources. You'll find 2 that you can use to support your stance, and 1 that you can use to show the other side. Now you might find articles that show both sides, so don't just glance at an article and think, oh, well, that doesn't have anything I can use for the argument or the counter argument, whichever it is. Make sure you read it. Part of doing research is doing a lot of reading. You should, if you have to use 3 articles, you should read at least 6. Educate yourself on the topic. See what the conversation about it is. So I'm going to choose a topic. So if I had a topic like universal basic income, that would give me a really easy search term to use. Number 3, should one separate the artist and appreciate the art without being influenced by the person who created the art? That one's a little more complicated. You'll have to come up with a more succinct search term when you are trying to search for articles related to that topic. So I'm going to choose that one and show you how to use Alabama Virtual Library. You'll have to start at the Wallace State homepage, go to Library, Alabama Virtual Library, click. College and University, click that. The librarians sometimes say use all resources, but this gets us to a couple of different places that have kind of the argument, counter-argument sort of filter built into the database. Now this is Alabama Virtual Library, and these little sections are databases. So they are collections of articles written by people and produced by certain companies. So when you are quoting from an article, please do not say according to the Alabama Virtual Library, because that's like saying, like, the Wallace State Library wrote every book in there, and they did not. So it's the same online. You're not going to quote an entire library. Similarly, you're not going to say according to opposing viewpoints. That is not an author, and it is not even the publisher. They are just a company of, it's a computer algorithm really that just gathers data. So they are just a search engine basically. So you wouldn't say according to Google, because that would be everything ever posted on Google. So make sure that when you are introducing your source, you're introducing it by the title of the article or the publisher, or preferably the author. So back to our database. Here's one, opposing viewpoints. It was about 5 lines down on the right. And there's one more that's good for argumentation essays. If I can find it. Points of View Reference Center. They also do separate out topics that will work for a point and counterpoint, or argument, counter-argument. So I'm going to click on opposing viewpoints in context. And as I said, I'm going to do a search where I pare down the thing about can you do you have to love the artist to love the art? So I'm going to say separate art from the artist. See if that works. What does that get me? Ugh. So when you see the numbers 1 and 14 here, that means there are 14 news articles. I want to just go ahead and look at those. The other two don't really appeal at all. Reckless train wreck who can sing. So maybe that is one. Oh, is it okay to like the work of bad people? That might be a good one. Is it possible to separate the artist from his art? Can we separate art from the artist? So all of these work, right? Even if you separate the art from the artist, stop giving R. Kelly your money. So, and you don't have to talk particularly about a certain artist. You can just use the ideas that the person is writing about. So this is one about a comedic artist who had a sitcom for years, and it looks like they're talking about good things and bad things. So if I wanted to go ahead and use, so tainted but too good to miss, that might be a good one. Let me show you how I would start my preliminary Works Cited. I would open a Word document, just any blank Word document. Go ahead and set up your font in Times New Roman, set up your spacing 2.0. So just stop or pause the video and do exactly what I'm doing here. You can go ahead and do your heading if you want to. Let's do that. So put your name and then my name. Oh, look, I've got extra spaces, so we'll fix that in a moment. And I can show you how to do that. So you'll put your class, and then the due date of the assignment. I don't know what your due date is, so we'll just pretend it's this. And enter, and then you're going to center. Actually, you're going to do a working thesis for this, and then your preliminary Works Cited, we're just going to call it Works Cited, and it's preliminary because you are going to be changing it as you go if needed. So I centered and I hit enter one time, and then I'm going to go back to the left. Now I want to make sure I create the hanging indent, which I can do by going here to paragraph settings, click under indentation special, I want hanging, and OK. Now let me show you the beauty of using AVL. So when I click on an article, and I can scroll to the bottom, and it has already clicked on MLA 8th edition. If it's on APA, it looks like that. Some of you have been using APA style. Don't do that. Here's Chicago style. So you want to make sure you're using MLA 8th edition. And look, you can just copy. This is how I do it. You can probably click select, but I always copy because I like the control. And go back to my Word document, and then I'm going to right click with my mouse, and I am going to choose the paste option. If I keep source formatting, ooh, that messed up my font. Let me see if I can merge formatting and keep, yes, so I merged formatting and it kept my 12-point Times New Roman font. So I'm clicking the middle one, click. It also kept my database should be in italics. My article is in quotation marks, but for MLA format, I have to go back and fix this. I have to make sure all the major words of the title are capitalized. So things like articles, A, N, and the, and prepositions don't have to be capitalized, but all the nouns certainly should be, and all the verbs, and the first word and the last word. Article titles go in quotation marks. Now, let's find another article, and I'll show you again how I did that. So that one's done. Another way I could have done that is to click, and to save it, go ahead and click this down button. It'll download the PDF to your computer, and then you can save it so you won't lose it. Oh, look, right over here, more like this. I have more. I can use this one. Or I could go back to that full list I just had just by clicking the back button. So I will do that. Ooh, that one looks like a good one too. I get sad when I think about artists like Bill Cosby and Woody Allen. So this might be useful for me to read. So here's another article. I can scroll down again. And look, this one's going to be very similar to the one I had. So let's look. I'm just going to put it behind this one by hitting enter one time, right click, and then merge formatting. Now I have can we separate and then can you separate. So can is the same. I have to put these in alphabetical order. W comes before Y, so I'm good there. I don't have to mess with the order, but I still need to make sure that all of my nouns and verbs are capitalized. All right, so that looks good. And I need 3 articles. Let me just find one more. This time I'm going to hit the back button. I'm going to hit the back button until we find this one. All right. So I'm not sure that that one's necessarily one that I would want to use. I think that one's one that I just saw. So I'm going to, this one's defending the art. So this is the, separating the art from the artist. So this one would be good for my counterpoint. If I'm saying you can't separate the art from the artist, then this one looks like it might work for my counterpoint. Now, this is preliminary, so I'm just trying to get my work in here. So I'm going to go to the bottom again. I'm going to copy. Oh, look, this one has an author, and the author's last name is Andrews. That makes it super easy for me to know where this one's going to go. If they have to be in alphabetical order, A comes before C, so I'm going to put my cursor in front of that one, and I'm going to right-click and paste there. Now, you may not be able to see this, but I can see there's extra space here. Oh, and I can also see that my cursor didn't move. Now I just look like I have 2 sources, but I have 3. I need to go back and hit enter. So the extra space is a problem. So you'll want to highlight the whole thing, go back to your spacing thing up here, and see where it says remove. I need to click remove. So when I don't have it, look how big it is. And then when I hover over remove, see it shrink up. So that's what I need. I don't want any extra spaces. And then I also want to type in a working thesis with a should statement or an evaluative statement that says one thing is better than the other. But one should not, I don't know what the answer to this question is. There are no right answers. There's just a defended point. So you could argue the opposite. That is my preliminary working thesis. I don't know what the details are going to be. I might change my mind as I do my research, and that's okay. That's why it's a working thesis. So that's all you have to do. That's all you have to know. And let me know if you have questions. Please email me.